Oh, Undertaker, I've been sitting all alone in the darkness of my funeral parlor, thinking about mass burials, all the mass burials down through history. I wish I could have been there, but there's one ahead that I will attend. Oh, yes. 29 bodies, 29 souls, and you, Undertaker, can present them to me one by one. And with each one, you'll get closer and closer to your championship.
My sole purpose in this lifeless world is to collect the souls of the unfortunate people that cross me. Coming soon, there will be 29 bodies at my feet, and I'll stand alone at the top.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining another episode of On the Network. I am Rich, and joining me is my co-host Tyler. Tyler, how are you doing?
Hello. Well, my kids are sick. My cat's pissing all over my house, and I have to get up super early tomorrow, so actually pretty much better than normal. So
nice. And that laughing is Glenn. He is our special guest for the night. He has a podcast called Talking About Podcasts. Glenn, how are you doing tonight?
So far so good. Got back from a trip yesterday. It's like a 5-hour drive to Walmart, and I picked up a few video games and a few amiibos, and I'm gonna play them this weekend with my son.
Ooh, what amiibos did you get?
I bought him a Silver Mario, and I bought myself Toad for Mario Party 10.
Nice. I just want a Wario and Mega Man. That's all I want.
Mega Man's pretty sweet. Wario, I would have to decide on whether or not to use him for Smash Brothers or Mario Party 10, because you can only use one amiibo per game.
Really?
Yeah, which really pisses me off, because then I got to go buy specific ones for certain games and then keep them separate. That
is such bullshit. Good job, Nintendo.
I know. You would think that they'd program it with like a little memory card or something inside that would, save different games onto one amiibo.
You would think, but that means
they're in it for the money.
Yeah, that means they have to try.
Yeah.
It's just their version of pay to play.
Yep.
Which is surprising because Nintendo never used to really be like that.
Oh, they're all about it now.
Yeah.
Like Smash Brothers has exclusive characters that you have to download and pay for.
Download and buy. Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, no. I doubt I will.
I don't know. Mewtwo looks kind of interesting, and he's one of my favorite Pokemon, so I might.
Yeah, and I don't see myself getting the Street Fighter guy. Was it Ryu?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Just because you're so used to using him with Street Fighter controls, and then to try to learn how to use them in Smash.
Right.
Would just be too confusing.
Right. It's like you're pretty much going... You're a fighting character in a fighting game, but it's also a platforming game. And this is what we have to do now. We have to change all of the controls so it fits the platforming world.
Yeah.
Pretty sad. So,
all right.
You guys want to jump into
the news? Yeah, I was just about to say, are we going to talk about wrestling or video games?
Oh. Yeah, let's get into the wrestling stuff. So the injury list has added another character, or person rather. Becky Lynch.
Who is it this time?
Becky Lynch is.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
She said she got injured in the title match. I think it was.
Yeah, she got injured in the title match against Sasha Banks.
Now,
and then she tried to work with that injury and try to hide it, which obviously was bad for it. So now she's out for a couple weeks.
Now, I don't watch much NXT, but I watched the last pay-per-view. Was she the one that came out all steampunk-like?
Yes, that was her.
All right. Okay.
That was definitely her.
Yeah.
Man, NXT is just becoming injury-ridden lately.
It's not even just NXT. It's WWE is becoming injury.
Well,
Yeah,
with the
you can
main
make a
roster, though...
out of the people that are injured.
Yeah, but with the main roster, you can kind of hide the injuries and like the people that are out with injuries because they've got like such a huge roster. But when you've only got like maybe 20, 25 people in NXT, it becomes kind of glaring when a few of your top stars like Hideo and Sami Zayn are out with injury.
Right, and what happens then is it goes back to NXT as a developmental show, and because of like Sami Zayn and Itami being out, you're getting more people who are getting a slight push or showing up on TV more. So, I mean, it's not a horrible thing in the long run, but it kind of goes back to the point of it's a developmental promotion.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time in a long time that we're starting to notice, this is a developmental program.
Over the last few weeks, I can definitely see a difference in the product.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much ever since the last takeover.
Yeah.
It was like...
Nikki Bella said she was injured. I don't know if you heard about. She had an interview. I think it might have been at Comic-Con or some, one of those shows. She said she's been wrestling injured for a while now, and I call bullshit on that. But I don't know. She
What's her injury? Is it like a broken nail?
Probably. I mean, I forget exactly what she said. Dislocated her shoulder or something. I don't know. She's landed on the steps weird at a house show. But they're going to keep her around no matter what, though, because even if she is injured, because they are going to push for her to beat AJ's record holding the title. Every time she's out there, Michael Cole is talking about how long she's had the title compared to AJ. So I definitely think that's what they're going for.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Now that you're brought up Nikki Bella, I was talking to Richard the other week about your question about current wrestlers, male versus female, and I said I should have picked Lesnar versus Nikki Bella.
That would definitely be worth the watch. I'd get up at 5:30 a.m. to see that one.
Oh God.
And you know what? If it was for the women's title, Nikki Bella would win that match, guaranteed.
Yeah, but how many suplexes would she eat?
Enough.
I don't know.
Enough for me to be entertained.
How many suplexes do you think Brock Lesnar could give to her without getting tired out? 50?
Let's see.
100?
Yeah, you think about it. Cena weighs like 2 something, and Nikki's got to weigh like, I don't know, $115, maybe $125 with the implants. So that's like, half the weight right there. So he can toss her around a lot more. So I'm thinking, maybe 30 to 50, because, even if it is lighter, having to do repetitive throwing motions will tire you out after a while.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it is like 100-something pounds, so that would still definitely wear you out.
I'm trying to picture it in my head. Does he land himself when he does the German suplex? He takes a bump as well, right?
Yeah.
So that could affect it.
What I'd like to see him do is a bunch of those belly-to-belly or those German suplexes where as soon as he lets her go, she kind of totally flips over and lands on her front. Give her about 20 of those, and hopefully the implants break.
And then they'll be like...
No, and then they could do twin magic again. Oh, wait, they still do it anyway.
Now, I would just like to say that I'm not actually for man-on-woman violence, but if it's in a work situation like wrestling, it's okay. I'm not for Steve Austin beating his wife, Deborah, but if it's in a ring, I guess, it's entertainment, and it's a work.
Right. And in theory, they're both trained professionals to some degree, and they know what they're doing to some degree.
I like how you said in theory.
Yeah, in theory. Because, if we're going to use, like, the Lesnar versus Nikki Bella situation, one of those people know exactly what they're doing. The other one will definitely botch something. And
the other one being Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Do they call the female wrestlers on NXT divas, or do they call them wrestlers?
They're starting to call them divas.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was about to say, they don't even call the wrestlers anymore, so they're not even superstars, so I would not classify them as wrestlers, all the ones on the main roster at the moment. Well, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, it's pretty much just, it's ridiculous if you think about it, because if you watch NXT, most of their women's division, minus 2 people, and one of those people are steadily improving like they should be, they're all, like, superior wrestlers compared to the main roster. I would rather watch a Sasha Banks-Charlotte match, or even a Sasha Banks Cassie match compared to another Bella squash match against Paige or Naomi.
Now, I've heard a lot that management doesn't let them do good matches, or they don't let them do certain things. So do you think if we had a Sasha versus Charlotte match on the main roster, would it suck ass, or do you think they would let them do what they got to do?
I think that'd be a wild card. I think it would. I think that would depend on if Roman Reigns is, doing something that night.
I think it would suck ass because they wouldn't want 2 actual women that know what they're doing to show up the other ladies. This isn't the Attitude Era where you had a plethora of women who could actually wrestle and put on good matches with a small sprinkling of divas, so to speak, right? This is all divas with like a sprinkling of women that can actually wrestle. So they wouldn't want the Bellas to look bad. They wouldn't want, Naomi or whoever else, Summer Rae and them to look bad. So what they would do is say, okay, ladies, you got 5 minutes tops to do a match. And they would expect more hair pulling and slapping than anything else.
Another prediction from Nikki was it'd be a few years before Vince lets the women main event a pay-per-view. And honestly, I don't think it would ever happen with Vince. And maybe not even Triple H, at least not on the main roster.
I think it could happen. But when she says a couple years, that means that she won't be there.
I think the time for it to have happened would have been... Remember when Trish and Lita had that main event on Raw?
Yeah.
I think that would have been the time that it would have been done. So it's, it's way past that time now. So maybe with Charlotte and a few of the others coming up from NXT, maybe in about 5 to 7 years, they'll give it a try. But that it's just going to be like something like Battleground or Payback or something like that, because you're not going to have the Divas title defended in the main event of WrestleMania.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they changed a shitty pay-per-view's name to like WWE Diva Search 5 or some stupid shit, and then I don't know. They would come up with something to try to make it seem like they're actually giving them a chance, when in reality they're not. They just didn't have any other good matches in store.
That's when Ryback is champion.
In Your House 87, Revenge of the Divas.
Ryback is champion. It's gonna be a sad day, but not as sad when Sheamus cashes in Money in the Bank.
Oh Jesus! I try not to even think about that.
Well, just wait for the next season of Tough Enough to come around, and then they'll need a tough enough veteran to be around, which is Ryback. So he'll get another championship run. Although I don't even know if Tough Enough's gonna make it another season. I heard the ratings are trash.
They are. So that's some more news. This week's episode of Raw was the lowest rated Raw in forever, and
yeah, I think I heard 95. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I think it was like 97. And the only other time it was that low was when it was going up against a Monday Night Football game that just like dominated the ratings that night.
Mm-hmm. Although I did see that Ring of Honor and TNA and the other ones were low as well. So I don't know. Is it people looking? Is there anything else going on TV nowadays, or is it just people are going away from wrestling, or it could be that there's so much wrestling out there, or maybe they're just not watching it live. There's many possibilities.
Well, like even like the DVR views get counted in.
Yeah, true.
So
as long as it's within a certain time frame, I hear.
Right. So like if you like record something tonight and you decide to watch it 6 months from now for some reason it's still on your DVR, that won't get counted. But if you watch it tomorrow morning or I think maybe even the day after, it might still get counted.
I believe it's a 3-day window. And
a lot of people are cutting cable nowadays. I don't have cable. I have to torrent Raw each week.
And what's funny about that is it's also on Hulu. Like Raw is on Hulu, and it's an edited 2-hour version. I'm not sure if they do. I know NBC counted Community on Hulu into their overall like viewership. So I'm not sure if like Vince is doing that.
Oh, they will. They add all their social media together, so they're like, we have 1 billion followers. Well, no, you have like 1 million over the course of like 20,000 different social websites.
Actually, I believe that they do have 1 billion followers, just from what I've seen on Facebook, because it seems like everyone from India in these different wrestling groups that I'm in, like John Cena
and Roman Reigns.
And they've just started jumping on the Roman Reigns thing, but there's got to be at least 1 billion of them there. So
I heard they got sued over that though, for misleading the shareholders, saying that they have all these social media followers and they were expecting X amount of dollars and blah blah blah, and some guy I guess whistleblowed on them, but now that he actually has to show up in court, he's changing his tune. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, talking about lawsuits, WWE is in the process of suing 3 former like retired wrestlers.
Yeah.
I
read about that.
I don't know their names off the top of my head.
Blackjack,
Dynamite Kid,
and
I can't remember the third one.
The Blackjack is Wyndham's dad, and Coco Beware.
That's what it was.
What are they suing them for?
Because there's a lawyer
who's going around,
and he's pretty much soliciting like former wrestlers, and he's going like the NFL just had a lawsuit where they had to pay out like $1 million split up between 20,000 people or something.
It was $1 billion.
Or $1 billion to 20,000 people for injuries suffered. And this lawyer saw that, and he's just going up to old wrestlers going, hey, we could get $1 billion out of WWE. But the thing is these guys never once thought about this. And some of them actually, after WWE, like Doink the Clown, his family is suing them. And they, like, after he left WWE, he still wrestled in indies. Like, his WWE career was really short compared to his, like, crazy long-ass career.
Yeah.
So WWE's going, well, if you guys are going to sue us, we're just going to sue you first, so you can't sue us. Pretty much.
But I think these lawsuits are frivolous because, like you said, like Doink the Clown, who was it, Matt Bourne?
Yeah, I think so.
He didn't have that long of a career in the WWE as both Matt Bourne and Doink the Clown. And then, he would maybe have wrestled for like 30 years or something, but most of it was like in maybe AWA or WCW and a hell of a lot of independent promotions.
Right. And who's to say those injuries didn't come from those indies? Why are they not getting sued as well?
Exactly. I was about to bring that up. Like, on the indies, you're not working with the best of the best. And you're not working, you're working with a bunch of jobbers. And you're supposed to be the best of the best, trying to elevate these talents. But it's a totally different work environment than the WWE, or even back when it was the WWF.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to win that case.
Oh.
Stranger things have happened.
And there's more going on in the courtrooms. This one is in Florida with Mr. Terry Gene Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I heard about this one.
The judge has given him permission to wear a plain white bandana. So he can't come in wearing like the Hulkamania bandanas. He is not allowed to be referred to himself as Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, any of those random names. No, it's only Terry or Mr. Bollea.
But that's fine. He gets his bandana at least.
Exactly.
And then when the court rules against him, he's going to flip it inside out, have the NWO logo, and
pull off his belt and start playing air guitar. Man, now what's he in court for? It's to sue that one website for releasing his sex tape?
Yeah, he is suing Gawker for releasing his sex tape.
Oh man, that's going to be awesome when he's got to go testify or something like that on the stand. Well, let me tell you something, brother. I didn't know that camera was there, blah, 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 and she felt the Hulkamaniac's power as I shot it on her face, stuff like that. I would love to watch that. That'd be awesome.
It was Terrymania, brother.
the millions of Terrymania sperm just flooding her face and blah, blah, blah. And...
No, I mean, really, whoever wins this, it's a win-win for the rest of society. Because he's suing for $100 million. That means that if he wins, I doubt we'll be seeing Hulk Hogan on WWE television as much as we do now.
Yeah.
I doubt he'll get $100 million, though.
Right, but let's say he does.
Even if he wins.
Let's say he does get that. So Hulk Hogan goes away in that little dark corner of Florida where he stays. And then Gawker, I don't see Gawker being able to give up $100 million and still being as popular as they are. That's a shitload of money for an internet site that is just clickbait.
Do you think Hulk Hogan will go away if he got $100 million? I think he's too prideful. He'll still show up at WWE and drop some leg drops every once in a while.
His leg dropping days are over.
The guy can barely walk.
Just watch his bionic hip pop
I heard he was preparing for another WrestleMania match.
Oh, god damn it.
Not that he'll ever actually go through with it.
But he's been preparing for that for the past couple years.
Yeah.
Since WrestleMania 18. No, wait, it was 19 where he fought Vince. Never mind.
Yeah, it's...
just him versus Ric Flair in just a death match.
That's how it's going to end up.
They just both take crazy
chair shots or something.
Fucking whoever dies first loses.
No. What's going to happen? Here's how it's going to happen. They're both going to swing a chair, hit each other in the head. Both of them go down, start convulsing like they're having seizures and whatnot. And that'll be the end of that.
Nah.
Well, that would require Hulk Hogan putting a chair over. He can't even do that.
Look, he's old enough right now that one little smack to the side of the head and he's going to be shaking, twitching on the ground like anyone else.
I can just imagine Vince McMahon being like, "You guys wanted a Texas death match? Here's your Texas death match." And we're like, "No, we wanted Lesnar versus Stone Cold. And you're giving us Flair and Hogan. God damn it. At least someone will die." It's at least someone might die in that match.
I would pay to see
We're
that.
getting pretty hostile tonight. We want Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair to die, and Nikki Bella to get suplexed 50 times by Brock Lesnar, which will probably kill her as well.
Sorry, that must be my influence.
I mean, it's bound to happen. That's a sad thing. Thing is, like, I'm not sure if they could get Flair back in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, that was another one of Nikki's quotes, was that she said that Brie Bella can outdrink anyone in the WWE except Ric Flair.
Can she outdrink Austin?
I don't know, according to Nikki Bella.
I think that's because Flair's the only one that would hang out with them.
Styling and profiling.
Like, I don't see Austin being like, Bella Twins, let's go do this.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right. Like, I don't see Austin being like, Bella Twins, let's go do this. You know, because he was talking to Ivory. There was a match forever ago where it was like Ivory versus China. And China had a really, really lame-ass pin. And Austin was like, I would never let someone do that to me. He was like, you should have like made her work for that pin. And like that's what Ivory was talking about in the shoot interview. And with that thought process, I could just see Austin watching the Bella Twins and just be like, I can't believe Paige is letting these girls do that to her.
Yeah, it's sad. At least fucking Cameron's not in there trying to pin him upside down.
Is she still around?
She got let go, I'm pretty sure.
No,
But yeah, it's probably Nikki Bella just thinking, oh, I seen my sister get really drunk. She can outdrink anyone.
Oh, no, Cameron... WWE sent Cameron to, like, the BET Awards. That just happened.
Did they?
Yeah, and she there's a picture of her. And it looks like she cornered Nicki Minaj, like, right out of her trailer. It's kind of funny, like, Nicki Minaj.
Oh my god, are they setting up a WrestleMania match or something?
Oh god, no. No, like
or SummerSlam.
Like Nicki Minaj.
Is SummerSlam gonna be nothing but celebrity matches? We got Arrow versus Goldust, Nicki Minaj versus Cameron, and I could have swore there's.
Yeah, Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust. What did I say? Goldust.
Yeah.
I could have swore they're setting up another one too. I forget who though.
Yeah, like this picture though, it's like Nicki Minaj, like she's still like in her like, you know, like just plain black t-shirt. Like she doesn't look like, you know, Nicki Minaj as you would think her, you know, her stage presence or whatever. You know, just some woman that wanted to go and to her dressing room, and Cameron like gets this picture of her, and Nicki Minaj just looks like very confused on what's happening. Like it just looked really awkward, and Cameron's all smiling. But when doesn't she?
I remember what it was. It was Kevin Owens versus Machine Gun Kelly in like John Cena tag match or something. I heard they were trying to set up. I don't know. I don't think that'll go through though. But I don't know. SummerSlam, they're trying to go too over the top with it. Hopefully it doesn't turn into trash.
Well, they got to stop bringing these celebrities in that, you know, want to be wrestlers that aren't wrestlers. Like Ronda Rousey, I don't have a problem with because she's MMA and she knows how to take a fall and take a punch and whatnot, right? The only thing then you have to worry about is her actually hurting Steph accidentally or something like that. But fucking a rapper or, you know, a movie star who has stuntmen do their shit. Like people who aren't athletes, who aren't, you know, used to taking bumps or something like that should just stay the fuck out of the ring.
Yeah, if you watch him getting powerbombed off the stage, you can tell like he was not at the right angle. Like when Kevin Owens picked him up, he was squirming too much, and he almost got himself hurt.
Yeah. Damn shame he didn't.
So
anything else in the news?
Well, we do have the pay-per-view, if you want to call it that, coming up 4th of July. It's the one. It's called Beast in the East, and it's going to be live at 5:30 a.m. Eastern.
On the network.
Yep, on the network.
Great. That means that by the time I wake up Saturday morning, I'll be able to torrent it.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's run through this real quick. Throw out some predictions. Cesaro versus Diego from the Los Matadors.
If Cesaro loses that match, I'm done with the pay-per-view. I'm just gonna turn it off right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably fast forward to Brock Lesnar, but Finn Balor too. But the rest, A lot of these matches look like they just fucking hobbled them together. They make no sense.
It's a house show. This is a glorified house show.
Right, but you'd think, though, that if they're going to put a glorified house show on the network to show like that they would actually maybe, I don't know, have Brock Lesnar face Cesaro instead of Cesaro and Diego and Lesnar and Kingston. Like, why make it so one-sided that you obviously know who's going to win before the match even starts?
Because Kofi paid for Brock Lesnar's plane ticket over there. That's why. He paid for the honor to get his ass beat.
And to give you an idea of how much they put thought into this, there's, like, when we go through the list, you'll notice that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins is not in this. And I don't think Roman Reigns is in this. So you have three of, like, you know, you have the Shield that are still pretty big, you know, the world champion and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns.
Are they booking the Brock Lesnar match as the main event or Balor versus
I'm not sure.
Owens?
I would think the Lesnar match because it's called Beast in the East.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So is this a WWE pay-per-view or NXT pay-per-view?
Probably WWE pay-per-view, considering that most of them are WWE stars on the card, I believe.
They are.
I haven't seen the card, and they're just having that one title match for NXT.
Right. And so we all pretty much agree Cesaro will win that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is the Divas Championship 3-way. Nikki Bella versus Paige versus Naomi.
I'd like to have a 3-way with two of those ladies.
Okay, so I got one Nikki.
I'm hoping Paige, but Nikki, they want her to beat AJ's streak.
Yeah, I think they just want to.
I think she's got
all things.
What did they say? She was like 218 currently, which was a few days ago, and then I think AJ was in the 280s. So we got like I think we got at least 60 to 90 more days of Nikki as the champion, which is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll probably go ahead and say Nikki, pretty much for the exact same reasons as you guys.
They're setting up something with Paige. This whole storyline they're doing. I don't know if it's going to end with some NXT women coming up or what, but they're setting up something. It's probably going to fizzle out and end in nothing like all their other storylines.
The next one. This is kind of weird. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler versus Kane and King Barrett. So that's just a weird tag team matchup.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
No, like that matchup right there says house show. Like if there's any matchup on this card, that's the one that just screams, "This is a house show, ladies and gentlemen." Oh,
like if they would have just made it Cena versus Barrett for the U.S. Championship, that could have been better. I don't know. Anything would have been better than that, probably.
Possibly.
Or Cena versus Ziggler for the title. I don't know.
I think it could be an interesting matchup because Cena's been doing better because they put him in a weird spot. You know, so he's actually having to wrestle again. And lately he's been in the process of making other people look good. And Ziggler, I would like to see more of him ever since Survivor Series. So that's a good chance for Cena and Ziggler to work together and maybe something come of it. And then you have Kane and Barrett. That's the weak links right there. It's like, I think Barrett will
I'd
do
be
okay.
surprised if Barrett and Kane win that. Barrett's been losing match after match, and Kane has like a 1% lifetime winning record or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But he's the king. He's going to start crowning people, and he'll yell, "I will rule you." Oh, wait. Sorry. That was a movie.
They could be setting us up for a nice Barrett-John Cena feud.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the U.S. title.
I don't want to see that. I'd rather see, there's certain people that I'm like tired of, and I just want them gone.
And I would
50% of that match is, some of those people.
How long do you think they're gonna keep with the King Barrett theme?
Till next
King of the Ring. I don't know.
And the joke is on us because I doubt they'll do another one.
I say they'll drop it within 8 months.
I mean, they could keep it, I guess, considering how long they make Money in the Bank into this big thing. It's just, what is the point of being the king? You know what I'm saying? Before there was an actual purpose to it to some degree.
You get a cool hat.
There is no point. You just get to wear a fucking crown.
You just get a new gimmick.
Yeah, and sometimes you run with it like Booker did, and sometimes you don't run with it like Sheamus and apparently Barrett.
Oh no, Barrett's been running with it. He's been coming out with his damn crown every week and
I know, but
saying
really what has he done with it? He's on a losing streak and stuff like that. And I know it's how they book him, but if you want something to seem important again, make it a one-night tournament the way it was when Bret Hart won it, where you have to go through 3 matches.
Make it impressive.
And then, make the feat of becoming King of the Ring impressive instead of 1 week we'll have 1 match, and the next week we'll have another match, and then we'll have a pay-per-view, and you'll have the finals. Or, the semifinals, then the finals. And it's no, just have it all in one night, and then actually push the guy that wins King of the Ring, as if he's supposed to be something impressive.
Here's one thing they could do to make it better. Actually tell us that they're fucking gonna do it. I didn't know about it until I was watching fucking Raw, and they're like, oh yeah, after this we're gonna do King of the Ring.
Tune in tomorrow on the network.
Yeah, because they started the tournament that night, and I was like, what the hell is this for?
Now, I have a question for you guys. Do you remember who won the King of the Ring and immediately after didn't have to wear the crown, the robe, and the scepter, but still was a big deal afterwards?
Austin?
No. Well,
No?
I guess, but that's not who I'm thinking of.
Who are you thinking of?
Brock Lesnar. Because they didn't even do... Yeah, he won, and then he went to SummerSlam to beat The Rock for his first WWE title.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But they didn't even do the whole coronation thing. At least with Austin, they brought him up to the throne, and he's does his infamous Austin 316 promo, but they didn't even do that, I don't think, with Lesnar.
Yeah, I don't think they did anything with him.
No, it was just okay, he's the King of the Ring. He's important. Apparently he doesn't have to wear the crown or the robe. And he's going to kill people. And that's what he did. And good for him.
That's all you need to do.
That is all you need to do.
Our next match on the card is New Day versus Lucha Dragons.
Ooh. Is it for the titles?
No.
They don't have the titles anymore.
That's primetime players.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
I'm sure they're gonna win it back though. At Battleground.
I guess the New Day, as long as it's Big E and Kofi. Oh wait, but Kofi's not in that match. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, explain to me how Kofi and Big E win the tag titles, but Xavier and Big E lose the tag titles.
Freebird rule, which means any combination of the two can defend the titles at one time. It's based on the old tag team, the Freebirds. That was Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and Jimmy something or other, I believe. I can't remember the last guy. But that way, they could have Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy win the belts looking strong, and then have like Michael Hayes and the other guy, and have the other guy take the pin and still keep the main two people looking strong in the tag team.
Okay, that makes sense.
And basically that's what I'm thinking that they're trying to do with the New Day as well, is keep two people looking strong and have one guy take the pin. But the thing is, like, who do you make look strong in the New Day? Because let's face it, they're jobbers, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with making any one of them look strong. It was just, hey, we needed Kofi to do this other match and do his flippy shit off the ladder.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the whole New Day thing, you got them all together and they're all mid-carders at best.
Yeah.
And you can't really make any of them look strong. Because a few of them, like Kofi's been around so long that you know he's nothing but a mid-carder. And they basically screwed Big E and Xavier Woods from the start.
Xavier shouldn't even be wrestling. He should be their manager. He's been great with outside the ring, everything he says.
Yeah.
He throws some pretty hilarious shit out there sometimes.
I like this gimmick for him a little better than his original gimmick of just, I'm Xavier Woods. I like the Power Rangers. What?
Somebody call my mama.
Yeah, like that was his thing, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then they made a huge deal about it. Do any of you guys remember about a couple years ago when they tried to launch a Saturday morning kids show?
Saturday Morning Slam?
Yeah.
I've got some of those still on my PVR, I believe.
Oh, they were rough. Pretty much what it was like, it was like a main event or Superstars match. Like, they would just throw one of those matches in there and then have a bunch of weird backstage things. And the main thing I remember was Brodus Clay and Xavier Woods. Like, those were like the two people that were like all sorts of backstage. And it was just, that was horrible. Thank God.
I'll have to go back and see if I do have them on my PVR and maybe watch a few. I've watched them a bit, but because, I'd record anything wrestling on the TV, but yeah, they weren't good. They were like, half an hour long?
Yeah, half hour, maybe 45 minutes, so an hour. Something like that, yeah.
And then they'd actually have general managers. I believe Dusty Rhodes was a general manager, Mick Foley was a general manager, and I think JBL might have been as well. And it's like, why do you need a general manager for a half-hour show?
And
you come out, you cut a 10-minute promo, and there you go. Like, half the show's gone because of commercials.
So we're all pretty much saying that New Day will win that one.
Who are they up against again?
Lucha Dragons.
I don't know. That could go either way.
I would like to see Kalisto do something.
I'd like to see the Lucha Dragons win it, but no, Big E will probably get the pin.
Yeah, they're probably going to let New Day win because they need to set him up for a title run at Battleground. Even though I think that match might already be booked.
I couldn't even tell you.
I don't know.
The next one. Chris Jericho versus Neville. So it looks like Jericho's returning.
Isn't there isn't this event in Japan, isn't there like a 2 or 3 day thing, and like I think Balor faces Jericho in one of the days? That's the match I want to see.
That would actually be a really good match.
Yeah, I think Jericho requested the match specifically.
That's got to be nice, though, being able to say, okay, I want to come in for this house show and work with this one guy.
Right.
But I see Jericho losing this match against Neville. Because Jericho seems to be one of those guys who's been around forever, but he does know how to come back and put over a young talent.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, that's
exactly
the
what I was
only
thinking.
benefit I could see from this match.
Is Neville will look really good after it. Even if Neville does end up losing, unless he gets injured in some weird way, I think Neville will look really good in this one.
Yeah, but I think what they've been doing lately with Neville, where he's had like great matches, but he comes out on the losing end, isn't really doing much but hurting the guy. It's kind of like, back when Sean Waltman was the 1-2-3 kid, and he continually, he was like the Lightning Kid or the Cannonball Kid or whatever, until he finally pinned Razor Ramon that one time. And that kind of jump-started his career. But it's kind of like that, because it's like, well, the guy's a jobber almost. Sure, he comes out and has like, great matches and whatnot, but he's not getting the job done type of thing, right?
Right.
And
I think WWE thinks that he's gonna be able to be a jobber, but people will still love him because of that one move. But that doesn't work anymore. You can't just be that one move guy.
And not only that, but they're trying to still sell him on the fact that he was the NXT champion forever. And that's going to go away at some point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's kind of weird. Like, Neville's like one of those guys that I'm happy to see him on the main roster, and I get excited when I see him, but I know that he's just going to go up there and he's probably going to lose.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because I was totally okay with him losing when he first started. Because I was like, okay, it makes sense. He's the new guy. If he loses a couple times and then he starts to win, like have like a win-loss record that's a decent ratio, then I would be like, okay, those losses, they meant something.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, they're putting him up against random mid-card guys. As opposed... And that was the other thing that they messed up with him. Was he comes out and he instantly... Like within his first month, he's against Seth Rollins and John Cena. It's like...
And what's he doing now? Feuding with Sheamus, and he had a few matches with Bo Dallas.
Yeah, it seems like they almost gave up on him already. It's like, okay, we'll put you with these top tier guys, and I guess they think it didn't work.
Right. Well, it's because they didn't give him a gimmick.
Well, you don't really need to give him a gimmick, but have him win most of the matches against the mid-card people, right? Like, for like the next 6 months, let's say he has 30 matches, or whatever it is, right? Like, we'll just go with 30. Have him have 5 matches against main event talent, and maybe win one of those matches. And then the other 25 matches against mid-carders, and let him win 20 of those matches, right? So it shows that he can beat the mid-carders, but he still has entertaining matches with the main events, but he's not quite on their level yet, which is why he only wins one.
Right, and he's working to that level, and now you have a story and a reason.
Exactly.
They should have let him win King of the Ring against Barrett, and then Barrett could have... that could have just set up a feud where Barrett ends up beating his ass after he wins and calls himself King Barrett, so that way he calls himself that, gets rid of bad news, and Neville's elevated for winning King of the Ring. And then could have set up a decent feud and a rematch at the next pay-per-view. But instead, we get Neville loses and King Barrett just wins King of the Ring, but continues to lose match after match.
Right. Oh, poor Barrett.
Barrett needs to go away.
He does.
We got R-Truth wearing a fucking plunger and paper crown, beating King Barrett week after week.
Forgot his bath towel too.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for R-Truth to actually do something.
What they need to do with Barrett is maybe give him a full body suit and a mask, and give him a mouthpiece of some sort, and see if he can get over on his work ability alone, and maybe have someone talk for him, because right now he's unbearable. They shouldn't be calling him Bad News Barrett. It should be Unbearable Barrett.
So, our next match is Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. Which, it might be the main event, but just the way how it's written down.
Kingston.
I don't think it'll be the main event, because how is that match going to follow the NXT title match? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, obviously it's just going to be a squash match.
It probably will. I think it'd be funny if Kofi won. But if Kofi wins that, I'm a firm believer that whoever actually does end up pinning Lesnar, in theory, that's saying that they could beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. You know, so with that thought process, Lesnar has to win that. Because there's no way in hell that Kofi Kingston could beat The Undertaker in general, let alone WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The only thing that can happen from this match from Kofi Kingston is if Brock Lesnar tries to do a ton of suplexes, and every time Kofi just reverses it and lands on his feet. He does like 10 of them and he lands on his feet. We get a nice little chuckle out of it, and then Brock Lesnar just breaks him in half.
I could see Kofi winning it in like a disqualification. Like,
maybe
just Lesnar just losing his shit and, pile driving Michael Cole.
I like Tyler's idea of, Kofi reversing the German suplexes like, 10 times or whatnot. But on the last one, have him tweak his knee or his ankle or something like that to slow him down. And then have Lesnar just decimate him with like clotheslines and other things. Maybe the triple powerbomb. And a bunch of suplexes. Now, also what I would like to see in this match, and I know that it hasn't been seen in 12 years now, but I'd like to see Lesnar hit Kofi with the shooting star press. Maybe not from halfway across the ring, but, from a safe distance. Just to remind people that he can still do it and that he can do high-flying moves sometimes when he feels like it.
Yeah, because I haven't seen him do any kind of high-flying or high-risk moves, and Jesus.
He doesn't get paid enough to do that. I doubt he will. I'd like to see it, because the last memory I have of him is the one where he fucked it up. So I'd like to replace that with him actually doing it correctly, but you never know.
He did it. He did it. By God, he did it.
He needs to redeem himself.
The one thing I have a problem with Lesnar, though, is ever since he's come back, it's been this MMA guy, and he's been using, submission moves and stuff like that. Like, lately he's been throwing in a lot more suplexes, but I'd like to see him merge that style with the style of wrestling that he had when he first came in. Because that match, besides the shooting star press, but that match with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 19 was, something to behold. And if he could go back to some of his amateur wrestling days stuff and mix in some of the MMA stuff, I think he'd be a lot more entertaining.
See, the question is, do you think the guys that they're putting Lesnar against, do you think they would be able to handle it?
Yes, I think some of them should be able to handle it.
Some of them. But, WrestleMania, I don't think Reigns could have handled it. Because, what was that pay-per-view in between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania?
Fastlane?
Yeah, Fastlane. That one, there was the Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan match. And I was watching it, and Daniel Bryan started to go into, his old, low wrestling moves. And
yeah.
Roman Reigns looked confused standing in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, he botched some stuff.
He just really looked confused to me. And I'm not really trying to knock Roman Reigns, but if he's getting confused on what I would consider basic wrestling moves, because I mean, it wasn't like Daniel Bryan was like throwing out his best work in that match, and it wasn't like he was throwing out crazy technical moves at him. He was throwing, I would think, mid-level wrestling moves, and Roman Reigns really just looked confused.
Yeah.
So you put Roman Reigns into a match with Lesnar, who's doing more than MMA stuff, he would just sit there, and I think he would be a deer in the headlights.
I guess, but then you just pull the trigger on having Seth Rollins come out a little sooner than expected, so that he could take some of the basic wrestling moves and stuff.
Right, because he actually knows them.
Right, so then that way you can have Lesnar doing his amateur wrestling, basic wrestling stuff on Rollins, and doing, you know, his MMA powerhouse shit on Roman Reigns. And I would think then that would kind of show the versatility of someone like Lesnar, being able to, like, you know, school both opponents with different styles.
If he wants to go the distance with this gimmick, he does need to have a few matches that are something different besides him just suplexing and destroying the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like a whole generation of fans. Sorry.
That's fine. What do you think about Kurt Angle coming back for a WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar? He's been wanting to come back for a while, and now that TNA is folding, could be an option.
No, I don't want to see Kurt in the ring anymore.
He's a guy that he's given us everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't watched a lot of TNA, but when I was watching it a couple years ago, like, he was still performing at a really high level. And he's at that age now where it's kind of like, okay, man, you should probably start to, you know, hang it up.
I think his time for hanging it up was honestly 2 or 3 years ago, and yet they had him doing moonsaults and missing them off the top of a cage.
Yeah, and
now...
Oh, did you guys hear about his neck tumor?
I heard about that. I'm not sure if it's a work or not, but I hope it is.
If it's a work, that's the lamest work I've ever seen.
What, besides Mickey James being killed?
And then showing up on Twitter the next day?
Right, but like, that's just, you know, bad wrestling storyline shit. You know, like, whatever. Like, WWE was going to do something like that with Vince, and they were going to have him, like, die in a car explosion, and then those plans got squashed by Benoit, you know, doing his thing.
He who should not be named.
But, you know, like...
Didn't they do that? I could have swore they showed Vince getting into a limo and it blowing up.
Right.
Yeah, that happened. And then that was, you know, then they did the SmackDown tribute show to Vince. They had a bunch of people talk about him, and then that weekend happened, and then on Monday Night Raw, Vince was in the middle of the ring saying, you know, this is going to be a tribute show, and it was in the middle of an empty arena, so that kind of put the squash on that storyline.
Oh.
Right, so like with Mickey James, whatever, but if they're using, like, something like a tumor in a storyline, I think that's a new low.
Now,
so
if
John Cena calling out to all the cancer survivors in the audience every chance he gets, that's okay?
Well, yeah, because it's an actual cancer survivor, but if it's just like a fake tumor that they're talking about, and it's just a wrestling storyline, the only way I could see...
cancer to try to make money.
It could be malignant, not benign.
Right.
But anyway, the only way I could see that working is if Kurt gets, like, you know, one of those implants of some sort put into his neck. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you know how they got, like, those skull implants and whatnot, those silicone things? Something like that. And then coming out a week later, and he's got, like, this big-ass bulge coming out of the side of his neck. Now, the point I wanted to make about Lesnar earlier was that there's a whole generation of WWE fans that only know him since he returned. And imagine how much more surprised they'd be if they actually saw some of his actual wrestling credentials.
That would put him over as, like, the top babyface.
Yeah, because, you know, there was, like, what, a 10-year gap between when he left and when he came back. So
But you got to remember, a lot of these people that don't remember Brock Lesnar don't care about good wrestling matches. They're trained to like the WWF or WWE crap matches that we get nowadays.
Yeah, I can see
I don't
that.
know if they would truly appreciate it, at least a lot of the younger ones.
Yeah.
He's over either way, though.
Well, he's over with us real fans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then our final match on my list here is the NXT Championship, which is Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor.
We all know that Balor's going to win.
He has to be winning. I mean, they just spent the last 3 weeks of NXT giving him a good portion of the show as a promo. And then we all know Kevin Owens is coming up to the main roster, so he's got to drop that belt.
See, that makes sense. But let me throw this out there for you. So Detroit is having a show soon, like a WWE show. And I'm not sure if it's a house show or if it's... But it's like part of like the SummerSlam tour. So it could be like a Monday Night Raw and they're just calling it the SummerSlam tour or whatever it is. But they advertised Owens versus Cena as champion versus champion. I'm not sure now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know.
there's that...
But remember, you told me that they advertised Sheamus as being the Intercontinental Champion, but that didn't go through. So I wouldn't believe that too much.
Right.
I think they're just saying that because he's currently the champion.
And that's what makes
But you never know.
sense. You know, it's like, you can't have it just as Cena versus Owens and try to build it up like that when they're both champions. You might as well go for that. But yeah, that was something that I thought was interesting. I do think Finn Balor will win, though.
He better. But I'd like to see what kind of weird paint he's going to come out with in Japan.
I have a weird feeling it'll be a... trying to think of the word. It's going to be like a slight change from his last one.
He might do black and white paint, but keep the same setup. Something like that.
Possibly.
Maybe something Japanese inspired with the Land of the Rising Sun somewhere.
As long as WWE could make money off of it, that is a possibility. Because that would be the big thing for them now, is because they have like the Finn Balor like bandana that goes over your face. That's like his paint, his like face paint. His shirts are him in like that face paint. You know, so as long as they're able to put that on a shirt or some kind of merchandise, and they can make money.
Well, look at it like this. If he comes out in black and white, they can sell black and white and red and black bandanas.
Right.
Hollywood and Wolfpack?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the whole Beast in the East card, I believe. Which...
Get it on the network for only $9.99.
And
unless you're in Chicago, now it's sales tax, $10.89.
And honestly, this card really is not horrible. It's awkward, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, most of the matches are predictable, though. But anyway, it's definitely worth a watch.
So we're getting close to our break here. But last week, I posted on our Facebook page, and you can find us on the Network Podcast on Facebook. I posted the question of the week, and we got an answer from AJ Maggot of The Bloke Show. The question was, what would be your dream cast of Legends House Season 2? Please limit it to 6 retired wrestlers, male or female. AJ said Mick Foley, Raven, Vampiro, Bret Hart, Spike Dudley, and Lita. That's just an awkward list. Mainly because Vampiro is becoming sort of a big thing over at Lucha Underground, so I don't think he would even ponder doing this. And
I'd like to see China thrown in there just for the fucking chaos.
that would mean that they have to acknowledge China.
which will
Okay.
never happen.
I agree with China, but Lita, Matt Hardy, Edge, Edge's wife Beth Phoenix, and maybe CM Punk. Right?
Oh, that
That'd be
would like
interesting.
throw everything crazy.
You know, and since it's on the network, don't censor a damn thing. And then just see Punk drop a bunch of pipe bombs and whatnot, and see the animosity, if there is any, still between Edge and Matt Hardy. And, you know, see maybe some animosity between Matt Hardy, Edge, Punk, and Lita. And then have Beth Phoenix, you know, tell Lita that, you know, Adam's with a real woman now and that, you know, she's way better than her. And then they can actually maybe fight if they have to, but they're both in good enough shape so that they might be able to, you know, do something. And then you got China passed out by the pool fucking with a needle in her arm or whatever else, right?
And then you just cut to a scene of her blaming it on X-Pac.
And then saying, oh, these guys here raped me. It's like, no, they didn't. But Hunter, I need a meeting for the Hall of Fame. Come on, Vince. Come on, Hunter. This isn't a real needle in my arm. It's all a work. Meanwhile, she's got foam coming out of her mouth because she's about to overdose.
They need to just put DX in the Hall of Fame and include her under that, so that way when people look up DX, they won't see, oh, it's China. My kids are going to find porn. They just see DX. She gets in the Hall of Fame, and everyone's happy. And she can go overdose and live the rest of her life however the hell she wants. Hopefully out of our fucking ears and eyes.
Yeah, so my six are Flair, Foley, Trish Stratus, Lita, Billy Gunn, and Shane McMahon.
Not bad.
Yeah, and I figure throw Trish and Lita in there just so you have someone that's friends. You know, because I don't see the rest of these guys actually being that close to each other. And it would just be fun to see Shane McMahon come back to WWE. Like in any kind of form. It would just be nice to see him there. And Flair, you'll get some great drunken shenanigans. And yeah, Billy Gunn, just because. I just think that'd be fun.
Because he's an ass man?
Yep.
Oh, Billy Gunn and Pat Patterson. Billy Gunn might be straight, but, you know, Pat's like, oh, I hear you're an ass man. Well, blah, 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 right?
It's like, I remember you with Chuck. Yeah. Tyler, do you have a list?
I don't know. What you guys are saying pretty much would be something pretty cool to watch, but I don't know. I can't think of six off the top of my head besides what you guys are saying.
All right.
I'm sure there's a lot of combinations that would be pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Legends House is something that the WWE Network actually needs. Because that was like original programming that was not like a list. You know, and Swerved is good, but I think Legends House is something that they definitely need. And by doing that, that would get people to go back and be, maybe some of like the younger kids to actually be interested in going back and watching some of these older pay-per-views or matches. Just because...
If anything, it will teach the kids, hey, this is what 20 years of wrestling will do to you.
Yeah, because the last one, they focused like on Roddy Piper, and you could tell like the guy is just burned out. You know, like he was just like, I'm done with this. But yeah, let's take a quick break, And we'll be right back after these messages.
G'day folks, AJ here. When you finish listening to this fucking podcast, head on over to iTunes or Stitcher and check out myself, Lee and Punch on the fucking Bloke Show.
We talk about a whole variety of topics like comics, cartoons, movies, television, and sports.
And we're often joined by guests like Deck from Ireland and other friends from all over this wonderful planet.
Once a month, we jump into the DeLorean and take a look at the history of professional wrestling.
And once a month, we look back at actual history with TWIT, This Week in Time.
And once a month, we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
So please follow us on Twitter at TBSPOD.
And talk to us in the Facebook group, The Bloke Show.
Now, I don't give a fuck what you cunts do, just listen to this fucking thing.
Podcasting Network. If you like pro wrestling, have I got the show for you? And no, it's not those 3-hour god-awful Raw shows on Monday nights. It's the Solomonster Sounds Off Wrestling Podcast, which drops each and every Sunday on the Solomonster.com, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and iTunes. It's a discussion of all the different events going on week to week in WWE, TNA, any other promotion where anything important is going on. Of any relevance, we talk about it on the Sound Off, hosted by yours truly, the Solomonster. Been hosting this show now for 7 years this year, and every year it just gets bigger and better. Head over to thesolomonster.com, check out our archived episodes. We've done over 350 of them, most of which are archived on that website. Other older classic episodes and new content, extra bonus episodes, are up on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thesolomonster. Plenty of content for you out there, so check us out. Let me know what you think on Twitter at Solomonster, and give it a shot. I think you might like it. The Solomonster Sounds Off again each and every Sunday on thesolomonster.com, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and iTunes. If you like pro wrestling, have I got the show for you? And no, it's not those 3-hour god-awful Raw shows on Monday nights. It's the Solomonster Sounds Off Wrestling Podcast, which drops each and every Sunday on the Solomonster.com, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and iTunes. It's a discussion of all the different events going on week to week in WWE, TNA, any other promotion where anything important is going on. Of any relevance, we talk about it on the Sound Off, hosted by yours truly, the Solomonster. Been hosting this show now for 7 years this year, and every year it just gets bigger and better. Head over to thesolomonster.com, check out our archived episodes. We've done over 350 of them, most of which are archived on that website. Other older classic episodes and new content, extra bonus episodes, are up on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thesolomonster. Plenty of content for you out there, so check us out. Let me know what you think on Twitter at Solomonster, and give it a shot. I think you might like it. The Solomonster Sounds Off again each and every Sunday on the Solomonster.com, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and iTunes.
Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
It's wrestling soup, motherfucker. Pay attention.
Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
Wrestling soup, motherfucker.
Like, this shit sucks, but I know it's good for me, you know.
Motherfuckers.
You kept on caressing Triple H's cock.
There's only two kinds of men. Ones that have raped and ones that haven't raped yet.
Yeah. And you had to go bust flip.
WrestlingSoup.com.
And welcome back. If you are just joining us now, which would be weird because this is a podcast, but we have a special guest with us, Glenn.
Hello, sir.
And Glenn, what did you watch on the WWE Network this week?
This week I had watched the ECW pay-per-view One Night Stand from 2005 and Money in the Bank, or not Money in the Bank, but 2011 Night of Champions.
One Night Stand, was that the one, or 2005, was that the one with the Foley, Edge, Lita versus...
No, that was 2006.
Okay.
This one was the all ECW One Night Stand.
Okay. Were there any standout matches in that one?
Well, Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome is always a good match. And I'm not sure how much they've wrestled against each other in Japan and stuff like that after the original ECW folded. But I remember the first time I watched this match back, when I bought the DVD, it gave me that tingling up your spine because you knew that you were going to see a great match. Like, it was like, what, 14 years, I'd like to say, since the original ECW had closed. So, you know, like, it took a while to get that tingling sensation of, you know, this is what you want to see. But once you had it, you know, it was there. The chair shots were stiff as hell. The awesome bombs were awesome. Tanaka went through a table. He took God knows how many chair shots, and it just seems like the rivalry didn't end and that they kind of picked up where they left off. Another match of note was Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman versus Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys. That was a pretty decent match. It was bloody as hell. There was a flaming table, I believe, in it. On a sadder note, there was a match between Eddie Guerrero and He Who Should Not Be Named. And the only thing that really sucks when watching that match is knowing that the only person that's probably still alive is the referee. Other than that, it was a great pay-per-view. It kind of sucked that Rob Van Dam wasn't there because he was out with a knee injury at that time. But he did cut a promo, and it was a pretty decent promo about what ECW meant to him. But all in all, I'd recommend that if you're an ECW fan and you haven't seen it, maybe watch it. Or if you kind of want to know what ECW was really about, maybe watch some of this or the Hardcore TV. Although, from what I hear, the Hardcore TV is kind of hard to watch.
No, so, like, yeah, ECW is just, like, the Hardcore TV is actually, at least the episode I was watching, the most I saw in the first half hour was, of wrestling, was, like, a spliced up, like, highlight reel of a match. And I was like, come on, what's going on here? And it was just awkward promos just pushing the storyline, which I'm not familiar with because I just picked a random episode. So I was just like, I have no interest in this right now. Like, I wanted to see good wrestling.
My question about that is, do you think that's how it appeared on TV and it was edited for TV that way? Or do you think that that just might be the WWE's way of neutering what was ECW so that the fans won't think of it as it is, which was better than WWE in some ways?
Well, Hardcore TV was an hour, if I remember correctly, as a kid. And this was 45, 46 minutes.
All right, so that fits into the hour.
Right.
But was there commercials when you watched it as a kid, though?
Yeah.
So that makes up 15 minutes?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, it fits into that hour. You know, like, I don't think they took out a lot of stuff for... Like, I'm sure, like, the music was edited or whatever, but...
Yeah.
Overall, like, I was just watching this, I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, these guys were looking for Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit just so they could do a fight, and I'm not even sure if that fight was supposed to happen in the episode I was watching, because I just gave up like halfway through. I couldn't even tell you what episode it was, to be honest.
So what do you review, Richard?
Well, let's see. Oh, let's talk about some NXT.
Nice.
Sure.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Tyler, I'll let you go with that one, actually.
Alright. Overall, again, I think NXT was not the best. Not as good as it used to be, even just before the last pay-per-view. A lot of the matches are very predictable. started off with the Vaudevillains versus the Wilders. I'm starting to like the Vaudevillains. I like their intro and their in-ring shenanigans. They won the match, which was pretty predictable. What do you think about them?
I think they're actually decent. Like, it depends on who they're against for me to say if I want them to win or not. You know, it's like if I see them in a match against Enzo and Big Cass, sorry, Vaudevillains, I want Enzo and Big Cass to win.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think they're entertaining. You know, like they...
Yeah, they won me over at when we went to see NXT Live. That was a great match.
Right. And they bring, like, a sense of comedy to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll do, like, their weird, like, old man... Well, not old man, but, like, early 1900s, like, muscle man poses and stuff like that. It's kind of entertaining, I would say. Who was the next match?
After that, Baron Corbin versus Tucker Knight. So, again, another predictable match. Baron Corbin destroys him in like 30 seconds. That's all you need to know.
Is Tucker a jobber?
Yeah, I think he is one of like the new guys in the NXT.
Jeez.
And
yeah, you can
tell
he's a winner.
To describe this guy to you, do you know who Bull Dempsey is?
I believe yes, I do.
He looks like Bull Dempsey with shitty tattoos.
Oh. Well, I was just going to say that you could tell he's a winner because according to George Carlin, no one but losers have names like Tucker.
After that, there was a promo with Enzo and Cass and the Vaudevillains talking over each other in William Regal's office, and he's like, "Oh, quiet," and blah blah blah, and he sets up a match for next week. So they're gonna start a little feud between them, which I'm looking forward to seeing because what we saw live, that was a good match.
Yeah, well, that match is going to be a #1 contender match for the Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with the way they set that up. You know, like, I'm definitely okay with that.
And then the Finn Balor promo, I think it's the final part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how WWE loves to reuse footage, so they're killing two birds with one stone again, and making all three promos its own show. If you want to watch that on the network.
Yeah, that premiered tonight, actually. I haven't got a chance to watch it, but I think I will watch that because I'm interested.
Well, you already have.
Well, I'm
if
interested.
You've watched the last 3 weeks of NXT.
Well, yeah, I would like to see it all in one thing, and I'm also interested in seeing if they add anything to it.
Yeah, let me know if they do.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll watch it if they don't. But after that, we get a promo with Eva Marie showing off her skills, trying to impress William Regal. And of course, she does her suplex, which apparently is so spectacular. It's earning her a position in NXT. What do you think about her?
I think next week I'll be drinking a beer when we talk about NXT. I have a feeling that next week we'll be seeing that match with Eva Marie versus someone.
One of those new jobbers, the new females, Cassie or whoever.
That's who would make sense against, but at the same time, the amount of heat that she has, like, just people want to see her fail. They almost have to put her up against someone like Bayley or Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to put her up against, like, a real, like, a name.
Yeah.
Just so, if she does lose, you could always come back and be like, well, like, let's say it's against Charlotte.
What did you expect?
Right. It's like, Well, she did lose against a former women's, champion. Where if she goes into a match with the jobber, it's going to be like, well, you looked okay, but you were fighting someone that's brand new to the company. And that could only hurt her, I would think.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with her. Obviously, she's going to be heel, which I think the division for women, there's too many at the moment, but I don't know.
That's a weird thing in WWE, too many heels.
After that, we get Emma versus Carmella. Two interesting notes I'd like to talk about are Emma has some new music. Before it was, they played her old music and then they cut to the new music. Well, now her new music is a blend of her old music throughout the new music, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I like it a lot more than what they did before.
Right.
So
like it has
hopefully they keep it. Yeah.
Emma's the one that does that crazy arm dance and was caught shoplifting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what her new music sounds like, but I know I wasn't a big fan of the old music.
It's sort of a dubstep version of the old with a little bit of new age grittiness to it. And the second note is in the promo where Enzo and Cass are talking to William Regal. They say, we have to go because Carmella has a match. Well, when Carmella has her match, Enzo and Cass aren't there. Why'd they need to leave? I don't know. I like to find little plot holes like that. But anyway, the match wasn't too great. Emma, they finally let her win a match. She submitted Carmella. Anything else about that match you want to say?
Actually, yeah, I thought that match was, it wasn't a great match, but I'm trying to think of how to say this. So Carmella is one of those people that when she first came into NXT, you could tell like she's new. You know what I'm saying? Like she had like a stiffness to her, and her matches really weren't that great. And this match, I would say like the last couple matches I've seen her in, I have seen a steady improvement in her. It's like this match, like she was pulling off some stuff. Was it like great stuff? Not really, but it wasn't bad. Like it looked good for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. She has improved.
It's like now, if she gets hit, she's starting to sell it a little more, which made Emma look pretty good. They had her in the corner and Emma was like running into her or whatever. Before she would be more stiff when she would get hit and it wouldn't really sell that well. And now it looks like she's like learned how to like let her body just kind of give into the pushes, and like that's the best way to describe it. It's like she's like let her body like kind of like become more flexible to these things, and her facial expressions are starting to sell, when she's supposed to be getting hurt. So overall it wasn't a great match, but it was nice to see improvement.
Well, hopefully Enzo's teaching her a thing or two, because if anyone knows how to sell on NXT, it's him.
Oh, yeah. And really, like, I'm just happy to see that kind of stuff. Like, when I watch NXT and I'm like, well, this isn't that great of a show, or that great of an episode, but I'm seeing people improve, instantly my mind goes right back to this is developmental. This is what they should be doing. It's not going to be great every time.
NXT is the only slow burn we're going to get anymore. And it's going to be great once we see someone come in that doesn't know how to wrestle, They're just garbage, and they get better. They get better. They prove themselves. They win the tag titles in NXT. They win the championship NXT. They move to the main roster, get the U.S. title, and then they finally win the WWE championship. I think it's going to be that's the slow burn that we deserve, because we don't get shit anymore in terms of
But realistically, it's going to be, they come in, they're green as hell, they do the whole Mikey Whipwreck thing, basically, in NXT. And then, he's just going to come to the main roster, and if Vince is still around, squashed.
Right, you get Adrian Neville.
Right.
Well, it depends on a few things, like, does he have big ears? Can he do flippy moves? Does he have an accent? Does he look like The Rock, or is related to The Rock? Things like that are super important.
Can I say one thing about Neville?
Go for it.
The one thing that really kind of pisses me off is when he's in the corner, and then the one guy, comes running towards him, so he kind of jumps over the guy and then does that little flippy thing to the other side. It's like, do you really need to do all that flipping shit?
Yeah, it's showmanship, I
guess, but you see it all the time, and it looks impressive, but it would only be impressive if it was in the tag team match and you're going to the guy's partner in the other corner to drop kick him or something.
Know what Neville is to me? He's Rod Van Dam 2.0. Rod Van Dam had an awesome skill set or move set, and after a while, it just, even though they were amazing moves, you just got tired of them after a while, and that's what Neville's gonna be. I think he's got a great move set, but after a while, it's gonna be like, okay, you can do the Red Arrow, but you can't fucking win a match.
I'm already starting to sour a bit on Neville.
Who was the next match in NXT?
There was a Bull Dempsey promo. He was about to break into a fucking vending machine. I love these little promos they're doing with him. Hopefully it leads to something interesting.
I was gonna say, like, Bull Dempsey's one of those guys that I should not like at all. Like, I've put up with him on NXT for what seems like forever now. And he has never done a match that I'm like, holy shit, you've impressed me. But these promos that he's been doing are hilarious. Like, he is totally, like, eating up, literally, just these promos. Like, have you seen the Instagram picture with Tyler Breeze? Where Tyler Breeze is, like, in front, and then behind him is Bull Dempsey, and there's, like, chips all over Bull Dempsey, and he's laying down.
Yeah, I've seen that one. There's a bunch of them like that. I wonder if this was his idea or if this is something that was suggested to him. Because I feel like NXT, they usually do a good job of letting these guys be creative with their stuff. They knew the old Bull gimmick wasn't working, so maybe they said, hey, you want to try something new? I wonder if it was his idea or someone else's.
Yeah, but I'm a huge fan of these things. Like, I always get a laugh out of them.
After that, there was a Tyler Breeze versus Dillinger squash match. That one was super predictable.
It was, but was it Dillinger Jordan? Is that right? I think.
I think.
Dillinger is one of those guys, or is it Jordan Dillinger? By the way, Dillinger is one of those guys that I'm starting to enjoy whenever he's on the TV. Yeah, he might be losing, but he's another one of those people that you see a steady improvement. Like, there was a couple things that happened in that Tyler Breeze match. It was a quick little thing, but some things that he did flowed really well, where I don't think he would have been able to do that 6 months, a year ago. So I was okay with it. I mean, it wasn't great, but once again, it's developmental.
Yeah. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Tyler Breeze versus Finn Balor coming up once Owens is gone, because there's no big heel in the division but him. Really, can you think of anyone else?
Not off the top of my head.
Because Rhino, but he's not really in the championship matches really lately. Although he was in the tag team match in tonight in this NXT main event. But besides Rhino, there's no one else really besides Tyler Breeze. So we'll probably be seeing a lot of those matches, and Samoa Joe needs someone to feud with. So
maybe Jason Jordan.
I don't know if he's ready for that yet. Unless they finally give Baron Corbin his push to... But I don't know. I still really do not like him at all.
No, like, I think Jason Jordan is drawing the right kind of heat.
Yeah.
So, maybe he's someone...
I could see him being the next Angle.
Right.
He definitely has the look.
Right, like,
but
I see him on my TV, and I'm not happy to see him. So that means that he's doing something right.
Is Baron Corbin a heel or a face? Because I don't even fucking know.
Does it matter?
Not really.
From what I've seen of him, he's not very charismatic at all. And
he needs a t-shirt.
I don't even think that would help him. Oh, you mean to cover his face? Okay. I would like to see Baron Corbin not make it to the main roster at all. And if he is going to make it to the main roster, he needs to improve and definitely change his gimmick.
They need to do something. They need to drop this unbeatable gimmick and put him in the matches where he actually has to wrestle and get better. Because if he just does squash matches forever, he's never gonna improve. He's gonna master the rock bottom on himself, and that's it.
That, and he needs to shave his head or something, because he's going bald, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So. And if anyone needed to wear a vest, it's him. But I don't know.
Mr. Sad Tummy.
Anyway, yeah. Owens and Rhino versus Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Match was pretty good. I mean, it's usual NXT match between them. I like the finish. Keeps Owens looking strong. I think NXT does a good job of their finishes like that. What do you think?
I thought it was a good match. Balor looked amazing. Owens looked great. Samoa Joe had a move that looked decent. He still hasn't sold me. And Rhino, he's Rhino. You know, it's like, he's great at what he does. But I think those kind of matches are what's hurting the NXT show in some way. Because...
What do you mean?
Earlier we were talking about, you know, like all the injuries and all their big stars are, like, you know, like two of their guys are injured, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, would you want one match with 4 of your top guys? Or would you want 2 matches with those same guys? You know, that way, like, the show could be spread a little better. I understand that, you know, they're trying to move people up. It's, you know, they're trying to get people on TV. But
yeah,
at the same time, that almost hurts the product. And then you throw all 4 of these guys into one match, which this week's match, I think, just highlighted Balor and Owens.
It's the only way for Balor to pin Owens 1-2-3 without Owens looking weak. You know what I mean?
Right.
They had to set it up like that. And they did a really good job of setting the match up. Because if this was WWE main roster, it would be, oh, we're going to throw fucking Kane into this match for no fucking reason. Or we're going to have the New Day tag team with Bo Dallas, even though they've never even seen each other. Whereas you had Rhino attacking Balor, Owens attacking Joe. There was actually a reason for them to be tag teaming together.
Right. Like, it was a good grudge match. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying you could have had Rhino versus Joe, Balor versus Owens, or Balor versus Rhino, which I think they already did that recently, so probably wouldn't work. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they could have maybe spread that out.
But to quote, fuck, what's his name? Man, his name is blanking on me. Paul Heyman. To quote Paul Heyman, where's the money? They gotta sell that Beast from the East pay-per-view, and the only way they're doing that is if Balor faces Owens. And the only way they can do that without it being a one-on-one match is a tag team match.
Wait.
Because if you can see that one-on-one match on NXT, why are you going to watch the Beast from the East?
Which also, I'm not sure if you noticed this, Raw this week, they talked about Beast in the East, but all it was just the return of Brock Lesnar. And then that was it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they would pimp it more since
exactly
most of the people in the thing are on the main roster.
Exactly. Instead, it was like Baron Corbin squash match. Before it, Beast in the East commercial. After it, Beast in the East commercial. I was like, Jesus Christ. You guys are trying to sell it to someone that's already sold on it. You should be trying to sell it on your show that's on cable to people who might not have the WWE network. You know, like, I was just like, you guys...
That would actually make sense.
Right. Like, there's actual advertisements for this thing. And they did not play any of those on Raw, from my memory.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
I don't think they did. Now, Tyler, you were talking about this is the way you build the Balor-Owens feud without them actually touching each other, per se, is with the tag match. But why don't they just do what they used to do back in the day and have Owens come out, destroy a jobber, maybe give a promo late, after the match or before the match, and say, like if it's before the match, say, this is what I'm going to do to you, and then go out and destroy a jobber, or after the match, say, this is what I'm going to do to you when we meet, blah, 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 and then have Balor come out.
I mean, that could work, but they've been setting Owens up to be pretty much like unstoppable. So if they can show that Balor can pin him 1, 2, 3, I think that gets a lot of people believing he can win that title. He can beat Owens. But I mean, anyone watching NXT knows that fucking Balor's gonna win anyway. But I think that's what they were looking for.
No, but then that way you can still use Rhino and Joe somewhere else in the card,
Right. That way you don't have as many weak matches.
And you would probably kill a bit more time because you'd have both Balor and Owens killing jobbers and then running a bit of a promo.
Yeah, they could, like, Balor and Baron Corbin, that match that happened, Rhino was like, oh, we should have another match or whatever, and that just fucking fizzled out and went nowhere. But I don't know what they're doing with Rhino. He's like a good guy one week, bad guy next week. I don't know. Jack of all trades at the moment. Isn't he like a trainer as well?
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah,
pretty much.
He pretty much has the Brian Kendrick. To my understanding, I think he has like that Brian Kendrick contract, where I'm not sure if you remember this, but it was like a couple months ago that Brian Kendrick was on NXT, and then he disappeared, and that was because he had to go train Eva Marie.
That poor guy.
Yeah. So
you're paying this guy how much money to train this one woman who's probably not going to make it. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give her a shot, but I don't have high hopes. Did you watch anything else?
Oh, yeah. I did. I watched... What did I watch? Oh, the first look of Monday Night Wars Shots Fired.
So by first look, it was just basically a commercial for it?
Oh, yeah, give or take. It was like a 15-minute preview of this DVD. And this is really ballsy of the WWE Network. Because the Monday Night Wars Shot Fire DVD is, to my understanding, Monday Night Wars, the WWE show. So now you're telling...
Oh, they're selling what we've already seen as a DVD, but under the name of something else to trick people to buy it.
Right.
But wait, there's more.
There is. Before I get to like the added content that they showed during this thing, what that's telling people is, I don't need to buy the WWE Network for $9.99. I can now wait for your original programming to come out on DVD, and if I only want that one show, I'll go pick it up for like $15. And now I have that forever without any chance of you ever taking it down. You know, so...
Now, what would be awesome, sorry for interrupting you, is if all the added features to this show was just 15 minutes, and they actually showed you like the majority of that on your first look special.
Which is a definite possibility. I would think that they might even show a couple of like the matches that they talk about, and like their... I would think the DVD would show like a couple of these matches in like their full...
entirety.
Right. So what I got to see was a long-haired Renee Young, if that tells you how long ago it was that they filmed this, with a sit-down interview with Triple H on one side for WWE, because they can't call it WWF, and Sting on the other side, and behind him was WCW's logo and an NWO thing in the corner, because everyone knows Sting was part of NWO. But, yeah, like, it was just weird, like, they would just talk about stuff, and Sting was talking about whenever DX took the tank down to the arena that
Atlanta.
WCW was.
Yeah.
And Sting is like, I really wish that you guys would have come in, because that would have helped our ratings. And Triple H...
They tried to come in, didn't they?
Right, and they wouldn't let them in. And Triple H is like, yeah, like, that would have helped our ratings, too. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, like, that would have been amazing. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, no, that's not... It would... Like, that's not what Triple H was wanting. He's just being... sociable with Sting. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, that'd be cool, because I wanted to help your ratings. You know, but he was, like, all behind it when he's talking about it. And another thing that I thought was weird was they were sort of talking about, like, the end of WCW. And Triple H was like, you know, like, we never wanted that to happen. He's like, we wanted it to happen, but we didn't want it to go that way or something. Or he didn't want it to go that way. And I just cannot believe that. Like, seeing Triple H today and knowing, you know, how he runs business, he wants to dominate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he creates NXT, and by doing that, you're weeding out the indies slowly. And nothing's more evident of that than like WrestleMania weekend, when normally indie promotions are like, hey, we're going to have shows all weekend, so all these people that are coming to WrestleMania will have wrestling all weekend. And now those shows are gone, but NXT is all over that. You know, so...
Well, yeah, they book like every arena within fucking 100 miles.
Right.
And that just really shows how petty the WWE is. I mean, they should believe in their product and know that, no matter what indie promotion decides to show a show during that week or something like that, like, they should know that, the fans are coming to see WrestleMania. And if nothing else, if you get other indies to actually book shows and run shows during that week, because of WrestleMania week and stuff, you can have some of your talent scouts show up to these shows and say, hey, maybe we should check out this guy, or maybe we should check out that guy, right? To poach for NXT.
Right.
Or what about this? WrestleMania wasn't sold out last year. How hard would it have been to have fucking some mid-carder like Ziggler show up unexpectedly at one of these, if they would have let like a indie perform and Ziggler shows up and pimps WrestleMania, it could have been a win-win. Get someone who just showed up for the indie, which probably wouldn't happen, but they could say, hey, we still got WrestleMania tickets on sale, blah, blah, blah. Maybe get them excited, sell a few extra tickets.
Yeah, but what are the cost of even the nosebleed section,
Yeah, I heard it was ridiculous. They were selling them buy one, get one free near the end, though, which is still pretty expensive.
Yeah, or something else that, because WWE has like that access thing where you get to meet the wrestlers and you could walk through rings and stuff like that.
I don't see why they would let people walk through a ring, because
they did with the elimination.
You want them to
chamber.
believe that. Huh?
I was reading that people were like walking through the elimination chamber.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like you want them to think that, oh my god, that ring is really a fucking hard ass ring, but everyone that was walking through it was saying, man, that thing was fucking bouncy. Had a lot of give. And I think that just kills a little bit of the magic to it, if you know what I mean.
Right, but what I was going to say is, let's say WrestleMania did sell out, or let's say you lived in that city that WrestleMania is, and you don't want to pay the insane pricing for tickets, parking, drinks, just the whole thing. Even if you live in that city, it's going to be a shitload of money that you're spending. But you would want to go to Access, and having those indie shows around aren't hurting you at all. It's like, if anything, someone might go to the indie show and they didn't even know that Access was there, and now they're going to go to Access the next day. So either way, through word of mouth at these indie shows, you're going to make money.
I guess, but my question is, let's say it's in Houston next year. Who's not going to know that WrestleMania is in Houston? Because they pepper that thing, like buses. They've got buses and bus stops and whatnot with WrestleMania shit all over town. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You got to believe that there's got to be radio advertisement everywhere anyway, saying, oh, WrestleMania, and don't forget about fan access this week and whatnot. So I can kind of see your point where you might get the Johnny Come Latelys and whatnot because of these indie shows. But if they're going to an indie show, they already know WrestleMania is in that town that week.
Right.
It's probably not too many, but I think there'd be a few people that didn't know, hey, there's still tickets available, or they bought tickets specifically for that because they thought WrestleMania sold out or something like that.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't be too many people, so I don't even know if WWE would waste their time on that.
But I still think, though, that they should allow the indies to perform that week and stuff and just send talent scouts.
Yeah.
Which would be definitely good for them.
Yeah. Now, you brought up the Elimination Chamber and how people were walking through it. Now, the one thing I've had a problem with when it came to the Elimination Chamber is they say it's always Lexan bulletproof glass, right?
Right.
And shouldn't, when the wrestlers get tossed into it, shouldn't it, not break and kind of crumble in to the pod itself? if it was supposed
Well,
to
I
be
don't think the
bulletproof.
glass ever breaks.
I know it doesn't break, but it kind of
breaks.
Yeah, but you think that
Either
they
way, I
build it.
agree. That doesn't make any sense why people should get thrown through it.
I think a few times it's actually broken. Once or twice.
Yeah, I might not have seen it.
But it's like, oh, it's bulletproof glass and stuff like that. And it's like, well, they should have made the framework around the glass a little better then, because the glass should obviously be able to, take the impact of some guy getting tossed into it.
Well, speaking of that, Mark Henry in the Elimination Chamber, he's on the shit list now with WWE because of how he acted in the Elimination Chamber match. Because if you watch it,
do I come out?
Yeah, that, and I forget who it was, but two people were like locking up, and he's just standing there watching them like he's fucking dazed, like he doesn't know he's in the match. So I heard he's on the shit list now. I haven't seen him in a while. I think he was on Raw though, and he got beat up by Big Show. So
yeah,
he's gonna be on the shit list for a while for that. And I agree, he really bombed that match. They all did, really. Ziggler was the only one trying to pull it together.
But the thing is, though, isn't that kind of like a wise strategy to like kind of stay out of the way and try not to do anything, so you're not expending energy in the Elimination Chamber match?
Yeah, but if you notice all the other wrestlers, they're like pretending to be hurt on the ground and shit. But he was just standing there like nothing was going on.
2 feet away from people doing the elbow and collar tie-up.
Yeah. And why the fuck do they break pins in an Elimination Chamber match? That's the stupidest thing ever. Why would you break a pin when someone can be eliminated?
It might be they're further along a feud, because like let's say Barrett and one of the guys, let's say Ziggler, were having a feud, and Sheamus pins Ziggler. Well, Barrett might want to break it up because he might want to actually, deal a bit more damage. Or punishment, as Gorilla Monsoon used to call it.
Yeah, I could see that, but they were breaking pin after pin like it was a fucking tag match or something.
And really after that, there was no feuds that built out of that.
No. I don't even think any feuds really ended because of it either.
No.
It's sad. Like, you can have a match between Neville and Sheamus every week for 10 weeks in a row, but yet it's not a feud. Like, WWE puts no effort into these things anymore.
Yeah. Couldn't they at least have Sheamus fight someone different every week and have Neville, beat people once in a while?
I don't know. I did watch Slam City, the first episode. I went back. It's called Auto-Tune Adjustment. So, as you can predict, it's about John Cena. It's just a quick, 3-minute little kid show. Sort of in the style of Celebrity Deathmatch, sort of. I don't know if it's really claymation. It sort of looked like it at certain points. But, yeah, it was pretty much garbage. If you're going to make a show with John Cena in it, right, wouldn't you get John Cena to do the voice? He has 4 lines in the fucking thing, and they couldn't even just steal his audio from a previous Raw or something, because all he says is the champ is here and all his little catchphrases, and they didn't even use John Cena's real voice as far as I could tell. It sounded different to me. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but yeah, it didn't sound like John Cena at all, and all the jokes were just John Cena's catchphrases, but he's working in a fucking car shop. I guess the bad guy, the finisher, fires all the WWE wrestlers, so they all have to get fucking day jobs. So I'm looking forward to wasting my life on these 3-minute little videos.
Well,
see how they go.
I remember watching those with my son, and I think it was just before they threw on a new batch. So we burnt through all of them in about half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were that bad, but I think the only real saving grace is the fact that they're only 3 minutes long.
Exactly.
But then again, depending on your internet connection, I mean, it's too much of a hassle because then you're like 3 minutes later, you got to try to load up the next one. And then it's like, rated G for general. And then you got the on the network music as well, and it's like, it takes maybe 45 seconds to load a new episode up just to watch it for 3 minutes. And I kind of wish it was like a playlist where you could push play all and then it just like continuously run all of them.
Right.
Yeah, they should have an option like that. Question: I think I'm sure one of you have Netflix. I keep hearing about how Netflix automatically plays the next episode, which would be great for WWE, but for some reason my Netflix doesn't do that. Is there a setting for that?
I think there is.
Or am I just okay? Because I keep wondering why the fuck mine doesn't do that.
I want to say that there's a setting for it because it does it. I have it play like that on my PS4, and it also plays like that on my Roku.
Next episode in 8, 7 type of thing.
Right.
And then you can just hit a button and it'll just automatically kick in. And then after
I wonder if they have that
episodes,
you know what I mean? Like fucking Apple tried to patent the shape of a fucking rectangle not too long ago. Like people have all like that's why in video games you don't see like an arrow pointing towards the goal or anything anymore. You see that very rarely. Like each game has to come up with a unique way to get you to your mission point because I forget what company it is, but some company has it to where they have a patent to where an arrow points you in the direction you need to go. So if you want to do that in a video game, you have to pay for it. So I could see that being, I don't know if Netflix has a patent on that, but WWE should definitely look into that if they can.
Yeah. But then it would only be like, could you imagine if they had something like that? And you're sitting there watching WrestleMania or something like that. It's a 3.5 to 4 hour long event, and you're constantly, and then after each event, are you still watching this? Because just like on Netflix, it's like after 4 episodes of a show, it asks you if you're still watching it. And I don't know.
So, how was Night of Champions that you were talking about earlier?
To tell you the truth, it wasn't very good. The only real memorable match was Punk versus Triple H, and a no disqualification match. And on the line was if CM Punk won, Triple H was no longer the COO. So Triple H ended up winning. Mark Henry fought Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight title, and Mark Henry ended up winning that one. All in all, it was basically what you would expect the B pay-per-view to be. Main event was, I believe, Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. And, well, LOL, Cena wins type of thing.
Right.
Was the rest.
I feel like, wasn't that like a WCW pay-per-view? I know that they had like the Clash of Champions.
I don't believe so. I think maybe WWE took the idea of Clash of Champions, but gave it a totally different name, because I know that they took the Great American Bash, but I'll tell you what, I'll do some research and I will bring it up next time I'm on the show.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Excellent.
So pretty much stay away from that one.
I don't know. If you want to research it now, you can, but yeah, the pay-per-view itself is shit.
Excellent. So it's pretty much like, normal business as usual for WWE nowadays.
Yeah.
Good to know. Let's see. Oh yeah, I watched Swerved. Episode 2.
Swerved. Forgot about Swerved.
Swerved is one of those shows that I am becoming a fan of on the network. It's just original programming that's not a list. That's all they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's...
I want to see Booker T's cooking show for real, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about that, and I'm like, yeah, that would actually be something decent. Or maybe have some of those divas or whatnot do an exercise show.
Yeah, like...
That could work. Stephanie McMahon has an exercise video. I'm surprised they don't put that up.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, I mean, it's a network. Make it a network. Like, some of this shit's got to be cheap to produce. And, you know...
Yeah, how much would it cost to do a cooking show besides materials for the food? You know?
Right. It's like you already have the cameras, you already have all the lighting and all that. And Booker T is already on your salary, I'm sure. You know, it's like, let him go in there and cook for 5 minutes and call it a day.
Yeah.
Now, what would you have him cook?
I'd be okay with his nachos. He seemed really into it on that first episode. I would definitely want to try those nachos, because, damn, that guy was really into it. But this episode, it was off-balanced, or at least it felt very off-balanced to me. I'm still liking it, but it felt awkward.
The skits are definitely hit or miss. Some can be pretty funny, and some are just embarrassing. Like the Kofi, the locked out ones, where he locks people out of the building, and they have security guards saying, "Oh no, you can't get in." The Barrett one wasn't too good, but I love the Seth Rollins one at the end. That one was pretty funny. I really wish I knew if the wrestlers were in on this or not, because I want to know if that's how Seth Rollins really acts and treats people. You know what I mean? Because he was being a dick.
Right. Well, I think he started off sort of nice, and then like over like the period of 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like he's just like a dick instantly. And he's still signing autographs and taking pictures while he's being a dick.
Yeah, it was just some random people coming up for photos. But even when he was being nice, it was like, oh, come on, you don't know me, I'm the champion. So,
right.
But so that one was okay, and then the trophy one, I don't know, that one wasn't too funny. What did you think of that skit?
It was something. I mean, it's a filler. And I expect, like, those kind of little things. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy that was in it, like, Santino had this guy, like, hold a trophy. And he's like, this is a new trophy that we're going to be, you know, debuting tonight. And he made this huge deal about it. And for some reason, they were moving it. I don't understand why the hell the guy was even holding it in the first place. But like, you know, like, it was good because this guy was, like, really crushed when it fell.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of entertaining. Like, it wasn't, like, laugh out loud funny, but it wasn't horrible. You know, like, I would say it was a lot better than the old lady trying to flirt with every wrestler at WWE Access.
Yeah, that was just a disaster, I think.
Yeah.
You know what this show needs? It needs a host, a true host. Like, I know they were sort of setting Ziggler up as the host, but if you notice, like, he isn't in this one at all, really. They need someone behind the camera. Like, if you watch, like, Jackass or whatever show is similar to this, when they do the skits, they always do cuts between, like, Johnny Knoxville's doing a prank on Bam Margera. They do cuts of, like, Johnny Knoxville, like, off in the side, like, watching it happen, and he's, like, laughing, and you know what I mean? Like, you need some sort of interaction with someone that's into it and laughing. So that's similar to why they do laugh tracks on comedy shows.
Right.
If there's no one there connecting with you and laughing with you against whoever's falling victim to this prank, it's just you feel there's nothing to it. It's like it just dies. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time the wrestlers don't even know what the fuck's going on, so they're like, Swerved, what the fuck are you talking about? So I don't know. That kills it sometimes for me. There's some funny things here and there though, but I definitely think they need a host that explains the skits and sort of in the back, like sort of like behind the scenes sort of thing, to where you can relate to them.
And I think it should be Ziggler or Xavier Woods.
I was going to suggest Xavier Woods. In the first episode I rewatched, he's pretty funny. He's definitely good on the mic. There's one thing he says. He's like, "I'm gonna get you back," and then he's like, what does he say? Khaleesi's is coming to Westeros, or just some random nerd comment like that. Things like that really set him apart. And I need to stop saying so much, but yeah, I think Ziggler's probably the best bet though.
It is.
Wouldn't you rather see a commentator or something like Todd Pettengill, or someone of that nature, someone maybe who's not a superstar, actually come up and host the show?
I'd take anyone.
They
need something.
Maybe have him do it kind of like America's Funniest Home Video style, where he comes out and he's like, okay, this next group of videos are of us doing this to WWE superstars, and then have it like that. And I don't really watch the show. I don't have the network quite right now. But
that's a possibility, but the show is more set up like Punk'd or a Jackass type show. You know what
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? So like having like a host like in that manner, I don't think would work.
If you notice the one where Kofi's doing it, they do some cuts to the back showing Kofi reacting. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what I want for all of the skits. You need that cut to the reaction of the wrestler that's setting them up.
Right, like that could have definitely helped out the creepy old lady.
Yeah, because that was just like, okay, what's going on? If they would have had like, how hard would it have been to dress some wrestler in like the old man paint, like they did Johnny Knoxville, and then he like accompanies his wife and they prank him somehow like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like even in the first episode, I would say like most of the stuff that happened had a clear setup to it. It wasn't just creepy old lady.
Yeah.
It was like the first one was like, hey, we're going to put shit on this microphone and we're going to act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And that was funny because you were in on the joke. Where creepy old lady is like that cousin that you don't want of who's the guy in Jackass that would just like run around in a thong like in stores?
Party Boy?
Yeah.
The cast.
Yeah, Party Boy. Like it felt like that kind of skit, but with a creepy old lady. It's like
the only thing that made me laugh for the creepy old lady skit was when she was trying to get her tits signed by Diego, and the fucking security guard comes on the stage like, no, don't do that. We got kids here.
Yeah, and she didn't even have her shirt pulled down that much. Like I would say, most of the females that were there
were showing more cleavage.
Right.
Yeah.
But the last skit was we didn't talk about there was a gym skit where some guy like pretends to smash his hand in the gym equipment, and R-Truth freaks out pretty good. That one was all right.
I forgot about that one, and that was the one I actually enjoyed the most out of it.
Yeah, because you have all the wrestlers reacting to it right there. You need that reaction. Whereas the dirty old lady, it's like there's no reaction. It's just the wrestler being like, "Okay, you're a dirty old lady. Like, what am I supposed to do?" But the fart interview at the end, I did not like that. I suffer from a condition called third-party embarrassment, where if I see something on TV that's extremely embarrassing for someone, I feel embarrassed myself and have to physically leave the room. I don't know if you've ever seen anyone do that, but there's certain things on TV that I just can't watch, and this was one of it. I just could not watch it. It was just, I don't know. It just served no purpose for me. What do you think of it?
It was just awkward.
Yeah, it was just
because like it fell flat. You know what I'm saying? Because like Jimmy Hart's just like, I just thought she was sick.
Yeah.
Like nothing more. It was just like, yeah, I just thought she was sick. Whatever. You know, like it was nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Were they actual farts or just sound effects?
I think they had sound effects, and I think they had like a
fake
smell or something
effects.
too.
Yeah.
That's what they said. But even that, like the guys that she's interviewing weren't laughing about it, you know, and they weren't like, "Oh, that was funny." Like they were just like, "Oh, I thought she was sick."
You think it would have been funnier if they had a male interviewer interviewing the divas, and he just was farting left and right and was even admitting it? See their reaction?
Oh yeah, because I mean, if Total Divas has taught me anything, is they will buy anything. You know,
Yeah.
like they will overreact over the smallest things in life. So that could have actually worked.
Especially if they pump in some nasty smelling stuff into the room. I think that would have worked a lot better.
Yeah, a lot better.
Definitely.
Overall, it was okay. I'm gonna watch more, see how they go. Hopefully, they get better as they go. I don't know how many of the episodes they recorded in advance, so I have a feeling we're gonna get at least a few more episodes where the wrestlers still have no fucking clue what they're talking about when they say "you got swerved." But I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
I could see that ending badly with someone like the Big Show or Kane or something like that. It's like, you got swerved. Oh yeah, swerve this, and then someone gets hit.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, I don't have a WWE list for us tonight either.
What?
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, and it's not because I didn't want to watch it. It's because apparently It's apparently because after 3 episodes, they needed a week off.
Awesome.
Will they come back is the question.
Oh, one can hope. I'm still waiting for WWE.
Your riveting reviews of the WWE list.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
I'm really hoping for Music Power 10, Episode 2.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump on that first thing.
I mean, this is...
Next, we'll have Raw Edition, and it'll be all entrances from a random Raw.
It'll be entrances from this week's Raw. It's like you just saw it. They'll be like, "Here you go, kids. Here you go."
And it would be great if they did that show right after Raw. And kind of like, you know, said, check out the network for this program right after Raw. And then it's a list of all the entrance themes that you had just seen.
Without the matches.
In that particular order. And it's like, it's all it is just the entrance theme and the Titantron on the TV. It's like number 10. And then Seth Rollins' music comes out or whatever, you know, and the Titantron. Also, I would just like to say, I looked it up. Night of Champions was the name of the final Nitro. So apparently they did steal it from WCW.
Okay.
Which is sort of like them stealing from themselves at that point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Is that all then? Did we review everything?
I believe so.
We didn't talk about Raw, but
yeah.
Is there a need to?
Actually, yes.
Cena botched a really, really bad springboard stunner on Cesaro during their match. J&J Security now share a red Cadillac car.
Can we talk about that Cadillac car?
Yes.
Okay, so during that whole segment, I'm not even going to call it a promo. It was just a segment of, I don't know what it was, but...
Game show, perhaps?
Yeah, it was...
Without an actual game show?
Sort of.
I'm surprised the Price is Right music didn't hit and Roman Reigns came out from the stands.
Oh, but they had like some really, really cheap 1970s game show music playing.
Yeah, and it was awkward, and the whole time, like at first, he was like, "Hey, I got you guys some like Apple Watches." It's like, okay, that's cool, whatever. Kane, I got you a trip to Hawaii. Okay, whatever. But then like whenever he got the car, I was just waiting for Seth Rollins to be like, and everyone here gets a car, just like Oprah. Like, I don't know why, but I just pictured Oprah whenever he was
That would have been a
doing
perfect heel move. Everyone gets a car. Just kidding, you fucking retards.
Right. It's like...
Now...
But yeah, like, I just instantly thought Oprah. Like, once that happened, I was like... My level of trying to believe in this whole gimmick, gone right now. All I can imagine is Oprah just freaking out on the middle of her stage and just being like, everyone gets a car!
Now, did they really need to show the factory sticker thing on the side of the window saying that it was a $55,000 car?
Yes. Yes, they did. Because that's how much money WWE got. They took the car back to the very same car lot that they bought it that morning.
Wrong. They got half of that back because everyone knows that the second you drive that car off the lot, it depreciates by half.
Do you think the company paid to have their car showed on Raw? Or do you think Raw's not important enough for them to bother with that and they just bought the car?
I think they just bought the car and that it's actually Vince's car or maybe even Hunter's car.
I mean, it could...
Yeah, I don't know.
It could be one of the guys in J&J Security or even Seth Rollins' car now.
I want to say it's advertisement because he made a point to say the full name of the car and all the specs on it and everything.
Oh yeah, that whole thing was advertisement. It was shameless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, how about that ending of Raw?
Yeah, with Bray Wyatt.
I don't even know if I saw it. Might have turned it off a little bit before. All I saw, I think I was fast forwarding. I saw who won the match and was like, whatever, I'm done.
I believe Roman Reigns took a pedigree, and then Bray Wyatt came back from. Like, he interfered earlier in the match, so I guess he was sticking around ringside or something, but then he came back, I think, to bug Roman Reigns a little bit more afterwards.
And it was just awkward.
Yeah.
It was not good.
I'd like to see them, book Bray Wyatt a little better, and by that I mean let him win. Because I like his creepy promos and stuff like this. I'm not sure where they're going with Roman Reigns' family and the feud, but it is a little creepy, and it kind of makes Bray Wyatt look like a pedophile or something. But have him come out, run his promo, and I don't know, since he's supposed to be the new face of fear, have him win a couple of matches and a few feuds. Because it's like, oh, I'm the new face of fear, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, I'll see you at the next pay-per-view. And then he loses. It's like, well, the only thing scary is your win-loss record.
Well, he surely won against fucking Dean Ambrose 100 fucking times. But so did every other fucking heel. They need to give Dean Ambrose a winner, too.
Yeah, he's got one coming, I think.
Yeah. I think they're setting him up for something big. Hopefully a title at WrestleMania in a Shield triple threat or something like that. We'll have to wait and see.
I'd like to see him go heel.
I don't know. Is he too popular to be heel? You know what I mean? Is he one of those wrestlers that no matter if he's heel or face, people are going to like him anyway? Sort of like how Brock Lesnar was?
Probably.
But it works.
Although, maybe they should have pulled the gun and made Roman Reigns heel during the last pay-per-view and cost Dean Ambrose the belt.
Yeah, that would have been a smart thing to do.
Because people are going to cheer Lesnar anyway, so it's like, well, why not?
They're going to... Roman Reigns is Cena 2.0, and I think they're going to keep him babyface forever.
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, he's already, on, up until this Bray Wyatt feud, I would say that he's been, borderline heel. You know what I'm saying? He's just kind of there. He does some smart-ass comments and goes away, comes back the next week. I'm not sure if you noticed this, but at WrestleMania, whenever Roman Reigns was walking through the crowd to get to the ring, he pushed someone out of the way, but he just put his hands on someone and pushed them. And I was like, how? You're supposed to be the face here, and you're pushing your fans.
I heard someone punched him.
Was that what it was?
That might have been what it was.
Interesting. That explains that. But still, it was just an awkward exchange because you don't see the punch. You just see him push.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't really take that as a heel move. It's just, hey, I'm a badass, get out of my way sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he pushed a little girl out of the way, then that's a different story.
Cancer kid.
Yeah. Just wheel him down the fucking stairs.
Cancer kid's got this big sign saying, I'm fighting cancer, and Roman just takes it from him, rips it up, and gives him a good shove.
And then Cena appears out of nowhere.
You can't do that. Yeah, whatever. And he shoves Cena on.
Say cancer 3 times and Cena appears. Sort of like Beetlejuice.
That only happens on WWE Raw.
Now, I have a question real quick about the Hall of Fame. What did you guys think about Connor being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Part of me feels like they shouldn't have done that because it seems like they're just trying to make money off cancer. But part of me feels like, well, I mean, it's good for the kid and the family, I guess. Just to know his memory lives on in the shitty WWE Hall of Fame forever.
I guess.
Until they go bankrupt.
I'm not a fan of it because he's just a fan, yes. And they say he represents, the other Make-A-Wish kids and whatnot. But the kid beat Triple H. Triple H didn't get his win back, and I think Triple H did bury the kid, so to speak, but not the way he would usually bury wrestlers.
Instead, it was, I will bury you with all of these bracelets I will charge $5 for.
And an actual shovel was used.
I'm surprised Triple H didn't use a shovel instead of a fucking sledgehammer. They could have made it fucking aluminum so he could actually connect with it instead of fucking having to, cover his hand over the end of the sledgehammer every time.
Yeah.
That always threw me off about Triple H, but whatever.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's Triple H. You can't expect too much.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else? Because I gotta get going soon.
Oh, no, I believe that's it.
All right. Hey, Glenn, it was I'm happy to have you on our show. We had a pretty good show, I think, and hope to have you back.
I enjoyed being on here. Just real quick, I'd like to plug my show. It's called Talking About. Just look for it on Facebook under Talking About Podcast. It's a closed group, so one of the admins will have to let you in. Other than that, I've got nothing else to plug, really.
Where can you find the show?
Well, the first episode is now on blokeshowpodcast.com, and the second episode should be up soon. That's going to be the official means of getting it. I have been putting the Google Drive links up onto the Talking About podcast page so that people can just download it straight from there. But some people have been having troubles with that. So just subscribe on iTunes to The Bloke Show, I think. Or just go to blokeshowpodcast.com to download it.
Yeah, and if I'm right, you could actually get to iTunes from there too, I think.
Maybe. I'm not sure how that works. I'm just part of the network.
And let's see. What are some other things to plug? Geeks of the Industry with Chunky Larry, Bloke Show with AJ Maggot, Wrestling Soup, THT Podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing one or two. Oh, and ways that you can get in touch with us. Go on Facebook. We are on the Network Podcast, I believe, on Facebook. Like our page, communicate with us, ask us questions, and we'll probably answer them. And we will also be posting a question of the week because we don't have a question. Well, actually, Tyler, do you have a question for the week?
Not off the top of my head, but I'll come up with one. I'll get that posted.
Okay. And let's see. We're on Twitter on the Network Pod. You could email us on the Network Podcast at gmail.com. And you could always find us on our website on the networkpodcast.com. And
I got a new question for next week.
Okay.
How many times did Ric Flair actually hit a move off the top rope?
Is that a trivia or a question?
Well, that should be the question of the week, and then kind of trivia, and then because I only know of the one time, but that's it. But I'm not sure. Like,
well, we can post that.
Google.
And then the one that just popped into my head is, who and how should Brock Lesnar lose his first match since beating Undertaker?
All right, so we have a trivia question and a random opinion question that will both be posted on our Facebook page that you guys can answer.
A trivia question that no one really knows the answer to.
Pretty much.
I'm sure there's some internet site in the deep web that has how many times a wrestler has jumped off the top rope.
Preferably Ric Flair, though, because more times than not, he's always, tossed off. All right. Well, thanks for having me on, and good night, guys.
Yes, thanks for coming on, Glenn. And yeah, good night.